A word of caution regarding Tacoma hood struts. Well, good afternoon everybody, and welcome back to Robmotive. And that's right, I've got a word of caution for you regarding Toyota Tacoma hood struts, aftermarket hood struts, because of course, Toyota doesn't put hood struts on their hood. You have to muscle that heavy thing up there and then grab the old-fashioned rod and stick it up there to hold the hood up. Actually, I have two words of caution. Number one, with these hood struts, now these are the ones from Rival, by the way, which I prefer over the others because they're a bolt-on application. There's no drilling, it's very simple to do, it'll only take you a couple minutes. The problem with the other ones is you have to put a bracket up here in the top of the hood, then you have to drill through, making sure you don't pop through the top of the hood, that'll ruin your day. And then it's held on by rivets. And I gotta tell you, rivets are not a whole lot of fun. So, that's number one. Make sure that you're aware of how high they go. That's why I have the rags up here, because I don't want my hood impacting my lift. Wouldn't apply, obviously, if you don't have anything above your truck, but in my case, in this scenario, I do. Now, more importantly, you have to be careful when you put this hood down, and this is how these particular hood struts differ from the other brands out there, the ones that you have to drill. I'll show you here right now. So you grab the hood, and if you're below 5'6" or so, this might be a problem too, because it's pretty high. I'm 5'9.5", and I have to stretch to put this hood down. So let's grab it, let's bring it down, show you here. So I'm lowering it, and right there is the problem. There is no extra hold when the hood gets lower. So let me show you what I'm talking about. The hood, of course, went all the way down. You might have noticed a little edit there. I had to go back around and open the hood again. What I'm talking about is, at about this point right, let's see, about right here, the hood slams down. Now, I almost had a little catastrophe myself the other day, because I was getting under the hood for some reason. I wanted to look at something, and I was pulling the hood back down. I had my hand sitting down here on the hood area, and when I got to that point where the struts are no longer effective, the hood slammed down. Fortunately, due to my cat-like reflexes, I pulled my hand away right before the hood slammed down on my fingers. Now, there's not enough force that it's probably gonna damage you in any way, I wouldn't think. But it is going to hurt when that heavy hood slams down on your hand. So you have to be cognizant of that. When you get down to right about here, the hood is going to go ahead and want to shut. That's kind of a drag. And I got to say, that's probably my only real complaint with these particular hood struts, is they don't hold through the full range of motion of the hood. You know, with the other ones that I had, when you went to put the hood up, right about here, when you started to go up, the struts would take over and it would raise the hood by itself. Now, I have to be about right here or so, and then the hood will start to go up with a little bit of force from me. Now, that's not a problem. I really don't care about that. It's kind of cool that as soon as you pop that safety latch and give the hood a little push, the other ones would immediately take the hood right up. I did kind of dig that. These aren't quite as strong. I think it's probably due to the angle. These are connected a different way. They're further down towards the cab as opposed to being connected more center lined with the hood. So I don't know that the struts themselves are really any weaker or anything. It's just a bad angle, and they really can't exert their full force because of the angle that they're at underneath the hood, if that makes any sense. So, would I get these again, and why do you even need them? Well, you don't need them. I mean, obviously you have the old-fashioned rod here if you want to screw around with that. And one other thing I'll mention, with these struts on, the rod does not reach, obviously. The hood is probably about, I'd say it's about 2 to 2.5 inches higher with these struts than just with the rod. But you don't have to screw with this anymore. It's not in the way. Believe it or not, I always found that when I was under the hood doing something, this thing, when it was the only option I had, was always in my way. I always had to work my way around it. Never liked that. This I much prefer because it gives you wide open space under the hood. Speaking of that, because it does open fuller, you get much more room to work under here. There were times in the past where I'd be over here doing something and I didn't have enough space between my head, which I love to hit on things, and the actual hood. So I'd always be slamming my hood or my glasses. Now it's wide open under here. I don't have that problem. Looks like we have a little stowaway there. I don't have that problem. It gives me free access everywhere underneath the hood, and I really do prefer it that way. As far as longevity of these, you know, I think it's funny. When I, way back, did my first video on hood strut, which by the way, this is the first time I've ever had this particular brand. But when I first did it, man, there were people up in arms saying, well, that hood's gonna come down, it's gonna cut your head off. I'm like, number one, unless somebody's up there throwing the hood down and installs like sharp blades or something under here, that's not gonna happen. It's gonna hurt. I mean, obviously, if it ever happened, but my experience with hood struts, I don't see that ever being a problem. I mean, once the hood is extended to this kind of a height, or even the height with the other ones, there's not a lot of downforce on those struts, right? It's only when you start to put the hood down and the weight of it starts to shift forward, that's when you're gonna get a lot of downforce and it's gonna wanna push down a little bit more. I have no fear that these are ever going to fail and the hood is going to come down. That's, of course, unless I have it somewhere in this position where the hood struts start to lose their effectiveness. Then, as I mentioned earlier in the video, it's obviously going to fall, and you better be ready for that, like I now am after my experience the other day and my hand being under there. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, give you guys a little word of caution about the Tacoma hood struts. Just something to be aware of if you go with this particular brand. Again, their rival, I really do like them. There's nothing wrong with them. Just something to be aware of. Leave a comment, let me know. You ever had a hood strut fail on any vehicle? I'd be curious. Also, real quick, I do have an additional channel. It is Robmotive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Check it out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.